Amit, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ben. Real pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. I think you'll be well known to a lot of our listeners. I think a lot of people in Australia and overseas will have worked with you before. But for the benefit of anyone that doesn't know you, hasn't come across you, hasn't worked with any of your companies or anything like that in the past, could you provide a quick overview of your background and I guess your journey through the Salesforce ecosystem to date?
Sure, absolutely. It's been a while. I think I started my journey in the Salesforce ecosystem way back in 2012, 13. At that time, I was working with a large GSI called Capgemini. So that's where I first heard about Salesforce and really joined the dots about where it was going. And that led to me starting up my first business in the Salesforce ecosystem, which was a Salesforce consulting business called SaaSfocus. And we had a fantastic run. We went from a couple of people to almost 400 people in less than 4 years, and a very successful exit to a Fortune 200 company, Cognizant. And then I worked with Cognizant for 2 years, running the Salesforce practice for the Asia Pac region. Once that finished, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. And I started my next business in the Salesforce ecosystem, which is called SaaSguru. It's one of the largest Salesforce skilling and workforce development platform. We have a B2B go-to-market where we help large GSI hire, train, and onboard Salesforce talent, as well as helping individuals get ready for their Salesforce certification exams. So we've almost 150,000 learners on that platform from 56 countries. A lot of those countries I only came to know after I saw those users coming in from there. And then, in the last 1 year, with so much happening in the AI world, it was just, irresistible to start something in the AI world. And we started building out GetGenerative.ai, which is a platform which allows companies to implement Salesforce 10x faster with our purpose-built agents. And we also provide consulting services on top of that through GetGen Labs. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Third venture in the Salesforce ecosystem. So there's something which keeps bringing me back to this ecosystem.
What is that? Because a lot of people that have the success that you've had wouldn't necessarily go a third time, right? It's it's interesting and it's the pull, I guess. But is it just now the opportunity to do something with AI that's got you going again?
If I look at all the three businesses, we've tried to solve the same core problem, which is implementations getting done faster. In the first business, it was with humans. So SaaSfocus was one of the first boutique to have a very scalable onshore-offshore model. So if you look at SaaSguru, it was again a attempt at solving the same problem by helping expand the talent in the ecosystem as an education tech provider or as a skilling provider. And now back again with agents doing that. So I think the core problem that I've been trying to solve sort of remained the same: faster time to market, quicker implementation, better implementation. Probably what keeps bringing me back is, this is an ecosystem which is constantly changing. So when we started 10, 12 years ago, the speed, the scale, the products were very different from what we have right now. So while it is the same ecosystem, it feels very different every time you try to solve a problem in this ecosystem. And you don't feel like you're been in the same place doing the same thing. It's new excitement, new challenges, and of course, what has remained same is the people and the relationships. A lot of people who I now work with, are RVPs, AVPs in Salesforce. They were AEs when I started way back 12 years ago. So there's a huge amount of trust, and that really helps me scale up quickly and have those inroads that you would want.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the scale that you got to with SaaSfocus, which I'll be completely honest, I didn't know that it got that big that quick. 400 staff in 4 years, I think you said.
Yep.
If you could pinpoint, I know this is a difficult one, I'm sure you've probably thought about this over the years though, like the key to that growth,
Mhm.
is there one thing you could say was like absolutely pivotal in, because no one does that. Like
Waha.
I can't think of any other company that has gone from a couple of people to 400 in 4 years. What's the absolute key recipe to that?
I think there were two key factors. So one was our inherent ability to scale with the onshore offshore model. So usually a onshore centric business starts running out of steam, because of talent shortage or because of the high cost of talent beyond a point. So with our offshore model, we were really able to scale very well. We had a very strong graduate program where we had people coming in as fresh out of college or even outside of the Salesforce ecosystem. We had so many examples of people coming who were ex-teachers, who was teller operators, who were ex-admin people. And we were very open about getting those talent on board, had a very smart program of getting them job ready and billable. So that helped us create scale, which was one factor. The other was probably the external factor. At that time, some of the larger boutiques had just been acquired, the likes of Blue Wolf or Cloud Sherpa. So it had really created a space in the ecosystem for boutiques to really grow quickly and fill that vacuum, and a lot of support from Salesforce in the whole process. So I think I'll probably right product, right timing, and the right support from ecosystem.
And was the vision always to scale to sell that business?
Yeah, I mean, it was a services business. You build it with a clear outcome in mind. For us, it was very clear. We wanted to exit in a defined time frame. For us, the time frame was 5 years, but we ended up doing it much quicker. And I think a lot of the exit had employee upside as well. So a lot of employees were shareholders in the business, not just the founders. So it was also a responsibility for us, all those people who have trusted us, who have been on the journey, done the hard yards, to create a life-changing outcome for them as quickly as possible.
And can you remember the emotion when that was sealed?
Yes, I think, I mean, the whole process was really long, from the first conversation to the close of the deal. Money coming into the account was almost a 12-month process. So because of the length of that process, there was no one point where I just got up, screamed my head off and said, yes. It never happened. It was just, small yeses, yeses, yeses all along the way.
Yeah, nice. So when did you start taking AI seriously in general, not necessarily from a Salesforce perspective? And then when did you first start to really explore business opportunities in this space?
Yep. With SaaS Guru, we were a product company, right? So we were always building product, plugging in the right technology. When ChatGPT came in, we really thought there's a strong use case to integrate it into the SaaS Guru platform to be a learning assistant for our learners. So that's for the first time. And it was obviously the initial version of ChatGPT. And, we just built the APIs, connected it, built the UI so that it provided a real-time learning assistant, which helped us understand the building blocks of ChatGPT, and in the process, other AI technologies, whether it's the vector database or the LLMs or the agentic workflow, so or the RAGs, etc. So we sort of learned during that period. And in my personal life, I think I had probably moved into a AI first mindset from the moment I saw ChatGPT. So every problem that I was solving, whether it was a professional or a personal or a hobby, it was always with ChatGPT. So first thing that I do every morning is look at what has happened in the world of AI, and that's just become a obsessive preoccupation for me, and more so now because of our business being a very AI first business or a AI centric, AI native business. So yeah, I think we started experimenting, almost 2.5, 3 years ago, started building 2 years ago, and got better and better at it. And now I think we're probably a world class tools, technologies, teams working on building GetGenerative.ai.
Yeah, tell me more about the business. Tell me what you're doing, what the plan is, and yeah, where the business is taking shape.
Absolutely. The vertical AI platforms and the agentic layer on top of it is where the AI roadshow is going. So now every industry, every vertical, sub vertical, there are agents which are helping bring in more efficiency and productivity in those industry. And Salesforce consulting is no different. What has been probably the way of working in the Salesforce consulting world, I mean, it's very little has changed. If I look at 10, 12 years, people are still using the same tools, technologies, methodologies. So it was very ripe for disruption. And we strongly believe that there is a better way of implementing Salesforce, supporting Salesforce, and we owe it to our customers. So we started building GetGenerative.ai with a vision of helping every end user be amazing at building out their Salesforce platforms and getting massive and improved ROI out of that. So the vision of GetGenerative.ai is to really be the Canva of Salesforce consulting. So like Canva helped every end user become amazing in creating design, creating collaterals, and having less dependency on design agencies. We are trying to do the same. We want every end user organization to be able to work with our agents to really create amazing outcomes for their Salesforce implementations and support and better ROI. And we are giving them the power of these digital or virtual teammates, which are our business case agent, our design agent, our build agent, our coding agent, our testing agent, and our managed services agent, who never sleep, who never get tired, who are always working with the Salesforce best practices embedded into their way of working. The success that we've had in terms of not acquiring customers, but how productive our customers has become is just surpassed our expectation. An average uh, productivity gain of 40 to 45% has been realized by our customers. So something which took them 100 hours before GetGenerative.ai is now taking them 50 to 60 hours after GetGenerative.ai. It's helping them get to market faster, build without worrying about where the talent is or how do I find a consultant, build with Salesforce best practices, absolutely impacting the time, the cost and quality, all three things which matter.
It sounds amazing, but I think a lot of people will also think it sounds quite scary in terms of their career prospects.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
like that work has historically been done by a consulting practice with, like your previous business, 400 staff. But what do you think the future of the Salesforce ecosystem looks like with AI, whether that's the platform itself and how Salesforce will enable AI within the platform, but then also the broader ecosystem, the impact on the three biggest groups, which would be customers, partners, and professionals?
Mhm, mhm. First and foremost, what Salesforce is doing is the rollout of AI in every part of the product, right? So it's not just Agentforce that we see, which is the customer-facing product, but behind the scene, they're making the whole Salesforce development lifecycle smarter with agents, right? So you have Agentforce for developers, you have Agentforce for flows, you have Apex Guru, you have Cloud Code Analyzer, Code Builder. So all of those technologies are making building Salesforce absolutely fast with AI. So that's what Salesforce is doing. As far as the impact on of all of that on the customers, the customer obviously are slowly going to have the ability to literally talk to an agent, whether it's an agent from Salesforce or an agent from us, and get things done. Things are moving into that direction. We've already seen the most breathtaking growth in the AI coding world. Products like Cursor or Windsurf or Lovable, these products have reached 30, 40, 50 million monthly active users in like 12 to 18 months. So I think building any software, whether it's Salesforce or something else, would slowly become AI first, AI native, and those agents will keep getting better and better. And Salesforce is already doing that for its product stack, which means that consulting would be delivered very differently. Consulting would have to have a different process of delivering, not this siloed multi-role, passing the parcel from pre-sales to BA to developer to QA to, someone else. Secondly, the roles that it would require from the professionals would be converging into more multitasking, more well-rounded individuals who know a little bit of everything, who have a taste for the product that they are building, who understand user experience, who understand how to do the conversation with the agents to build out the outcome, who understand the domain, who understand the customer's requirement. So there won't be different roles as we have right now. And then the third thing is, you know, these companies would have to use tools uh, to support this vision, and there would be very vertical specific tools. So in a sense, what we are building is literally the cursor of the Salesforce implementation world. So there would be a massive shrinking of the consulting pie. Currently, this every dollar of Salesforce revenue leading to $6 of consulting revenue. That's not going to be the case. It'll probably boil down to maybe a 1-to-1 ratio between consulting and services. So the pie will get smaller. Absolutely, AI native companies would be the winners who have no backlog of thousands of people, team, and processes and silos, which they can't do away with. It will be small, nimble players like us who have a full stack AI service, so platform and service on top of that, and almost operate like a SaaS business rather than a services business would be the winners. So that's what I feel. I mean, Salesforce will keep improving the native AI capabilities, not just for customer, but the builders as well. The builders will need to completely change their way by having different processes, different tools, and a different skill set. And of course, that finally takes us to the customer who would have the ability to really get things done by just asking for it and leading less and less, external help and more self-sufficiency. So that's what I see as the future. And that future is not something which is 5 years away. That future is probably 18 months away.
Wow. I think there's going to be a few people listening to this that really concerns. But with you obviously have a very unique view on this in terms of like your background, right? Because there'll be people looking at AI now and they're thinking they can be a first mover, but they don't necessarily have your background in building consulting businesses from 1, 2, 3 people to 400. So
Mhm.
I'm guessing you wouldn't build a business like that now.
Mhm. I think it's not timely to build something like that. It has to be a AI native business, and that's why the new concept even in consulting is a full stack consulting business where you are underpinned by your own IP, your own technology, and build the processes around that technology, build the skills around that technology, and enjoy maybe a smaller top line, but massively improved bottom line. So, the gross margin of those businesses, the full stack consulting businesses or AI native businesses would be as healthy as a pure play SaaS business.
So what about a business that's already in flight then, like a consulting business that has some history of delivering projects but isn't an AI native business now? What would be your recommendation to partners around how to adapt and best position themselves to actually put themselves with a chance of succeeding in the new age?
Yeah, I mean, my first humble request is to come out of the denial because it's something which is keeping them back. And second is to read a book called The Innovator's Dilemma, in which, you know, as a large existing organization, if you try to innovate, there is a lot of inertia in doing that and a lot of things which keep you back. So you almost have to stop doing things the way it is and completely rethink the way the business should look like or should operate or should be built. But having said that, I think if I look at the three segments, the RSIs, you know, the 0 to say 100 people consulting companies, they have the best chance of adopting AI and becoming more scaled up businesses. If I look at the mid tier, like slightly bigger RSIs, almost bordering GSI, so the 100 to 500 people company, they would really need to scale down, which will be a massive short term pain before they can, start realizing the benefits of AI. I think the GSIs, a lot of them are still, AI washing. So they're calling everything that they're doing as AI first without really impacting anything on the ground or for the customers. And there are some which are building really smart internal capabilities and tools. So there would be winners and losers there. Some would probably move really fast with real innovation. So I think I see all segments getting impacted in a different manner. So the GSIs, a lot of them are really building innovative tools internally because they have the capability and taking it to the market. They are in a position to really reinvent their current practices, but then the risk for them is the highest. We recently saw what happened to the share prices of one of the GSIs, Globant, when it tried to introduce bots to be their billable consultant replacement. Single day share price drop of 26%. So the GSIs can do that. How it will impact their share prices or their scale or their growth is a big question, a very interesting question.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the most interesting, I think, things with all of this. I don't want to scare people more, right? But it's like you've mentioned in terms of scale, you don't need a 400-person company necessarily to deliver these projects. So, like, what does that mean for the talent in the market in the short term? Like, what we've already gone through a phase of the market contracting. And people losing their jobs and things like that. Do you have real fear around, people being let go from some of these bigger firms in the short term?
I mean, that's the honest, brutal reality. We are seeing that happening everywhere. People are needing less people to do the same amount of output, and it's impacting different skill sets and different experience level differently. The biggest pressure that I see is at the entry level jobs, which are most easy to, AI enable. The middle level jobs would probably need to reskill themselves and become these multitaskers that we talked about. And I think, the top of the pyramid, which are very highly experienced, architects or designers, I think they would probably feel least amount of pressure. So I think that's the way I see it, because once the size of the pie shrinks, there is more productivity with AI, which equals less human required in the whole process. But the unfortunate fact is the entry level jobs are at most risk, which shouldn't be the case because we need that to create the future talent. But that seems to be probably the next 2 to 3 years. I personally see it playing out. I don't see a very rosy picture for net new demand in the ecosystem.
I think we've seen that, like you said, we've seen that playing out already. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I had a client come to me looking for an inexperienced Salesforce professional. I think we had a little bit of that through COVID. I think people were willing to upskill people, but now it's definitely becoming less and less common. But what can people do then to kind of where should be people being investing their time to protect their work prospects? Then what's the in this new age, the vision you have and the way you see the market going? Where do people need to be upskilling and expanding their skill set?
Yep. Pretty much similar to what we're expecting consulting companies to do. So if we want them to be AI native, the workforce in that consulting company will have to have a AI first mindset. And that means, not being worried about coding or syntax or just a siloed role, but a more well-rounded understanding of the entire implementation life cycle, having the ability to talk to a customer, having the ability to visualize a requirement, having the ability to think of the user experience, having the ability to talk to a coding platform to get the code perfected, and having the ability to QA that. So I would highly recommend people to be very, very curious about AI, learn it, even if in a lot of organizations, there are still no clear mandates about whether they should use AI or not. So it'll boil down to their own curiosity to learn AI and broaden their, knowledge of what they are doing right now, come out of the silo that they think they are. So if they're a BA, they should stop thinking that they're a BA. They should think they are someone who should be skilled enough to manage an entire project implementation with very smart agents. So yeah, system thinking, taste for what they're building, user experience, and ability to engage with business, understand the domain knowledge. Those are the in 4 or 5 things which I would very highly recommend every professional to do with an AI first approach, obviously underpinning all of that.
How has business been received so far, both by customers but also by individuals? Because I would imagine there's some people that aren't enjoying what you're saying.
Yes, and we always find those people, even in our go to market, the vision that we talk about or the product that we demo, it ruffles a lot of feathers. So that creates roadblocks, that creates denial, that creates, shutting down of the process. But people who are adopting and being brave about, changing the way they do things and becoming AI first, they are seeing massive productivity improvement. And we talked about, a recent survey that we did. We had 200 respondents from our user base, and the average time that they were saving was 10 hours a week. That's equal to, almost 20% of time saving for the individual. The project productivity, was up to 40-45%. And of course, the quality part, when everything is aligned by default to a Salesforce well-architected framework, the data model, the architecture guidelines, quality has a massive impact. So seeing very high engagement when people buy the platform. When people see the platform, they either get very scared and they never want to see us again, or they get very excited and they want us tomorrow. So I think it's a very, there's a spectrum. There's nothing in between. It's either they love us or hate us.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and it will be very interesting to see what kind of comments we get on this podcast, because I think it will be exactly the same. Right, there's going to be two camps. What does the future look like for the business then? Because I guess, like, historically, like if we think about consulting firms of the past, the way that they market themselves is often, X amount of people, X amount of certifications, X
Yep.
amount of CSAT scores,
hmm
X amount of projects delivered. It's all about scale. It's all
hmm
about, volume. What's a measurement of success then in a new business, a new age? Is it purely going to be profit and hours saved? I guess, is that the driver of success?
I think the internal measures would obviously be huge focus on profitability. So as I said, a full stack business like us with platform plus services on top, we would expect the gross margin to be in the range of, uh, mid 80s, as good as a SaaS business. So that would be a huge measure. The second part is obviously a benefit that the customers are realizing, which keeps them bringing back to our platform, which means, the daily active users. Third is the time to market that we are able to achieve for our customers, and how we are benchmarking a current project delivery versus without GetGenerative.ai. So bringing in 40-50% improvement in the product delivery hours would be another measure. Time to market reduction by at least, 60% would be another measure. So those are some of the measure. It'll not be like I have 500 consultants or I have 2000 certifications, or, I think those things won't matter for us. That's how I see the new measures for a business like us, and of course other AI native businesses.
So just on the services part of your business, because some people will be listening to this thinking, why do you need services if you've got the product? So
Mhm.
what does that look like? Like, what's the need for services in your business? And
Mhm.
and are they just those people that that can do a bit of everything, and they're having that client engagement and they're the go-between between your customer and the product?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I mean, the way our services business operates, it doesn't have that legacy pyramid. What we have are very experienced, very broadly skilled individuals who can just run with our agents and tackle a project from start to finish, just with like literally one or two people teams. So the reason why we started the consulting business on top was because the product is still complex. So going in and implementing it with this product helps us break down those complexity barriers, help us smoother onboarding for our customers, and then it helps us leave behind this product, which creates a recurring revenue stream for us. But the customer is more comfortable in continuing their journey with the product. So it's almost like, I would say, a customer success on steroids is what we are doing.
Do you have any fears about the new way of working? Like just that's come to my mind because like this example you've just given of obviously working like that individual that is working spread across like multiple kind of disciplines, I guess, but they're engaging with the agent. Like the immediate thing that came to my mind was like job satisfaction and like camaraderie between teams. Like in consulting firms, I know part of the thing that consultants enjoy is being in the trenches with other people and like getting something across the line in a team and really, going on that journey from requirements through to a really, really difficult project, difficult stakeholders, and coming through the other side as a team and looking at their teammates and saying, we've just done that. Like, is that a fear for you? Like the market and going in this direction, you're going to lose that. And actually the job satisfaction for people won't be as great?
I mean, that's a valid fear. We are all used to being part of larger teams, and there's so much fun in the process. And probably people will have less of those opportunities now because they're working with their coworkers or agents. But at the same time, it brings other joys back into their life. So they don't have to suffer bureaucracy. They don't have to suffer red tape. They don't have to suffer incompetent team members. So maybe there are a few wins which will improve the satisfaction, and a few human factors which will reduce the satisfaction. But it'll be an interesting space to watch.
And can you see any way at all that in 5 years' time, consulting is still being done the same way that it's done now?
I mean, exact same way, no. I see a zero chance of that being the case. Drastically different, yes, of course. I mean, there would always be human expertise needed, and those human expertise would need to be amplified with agents to reach the right balance.
Well, look, thank you so much. This is really insightful for me, and I'm sure equal measures of I guess, elements of fear and opportunity for others in the ecosystem. If someone wants to find out more about the business, find out more about you, find out more about the opportunity of AI in the future, where can they find you? Is there anything you'd recommend they read? Any links that you would recommend people head over to?
Yeah, absolutely. They can look us up on GetGenerative.ai, and my email ID is amit@getgenerative.ai. So would love to have them there. We have some amazing blogs on our website, and my personal favorites from the external world is Y Combinator. There is amazing amount of weekly podcast that comes out on AI and AI first businesses. So would highly recommend anyone curious on AI to look that up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the chat and really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ben, and have a great one. Cheers.
Thank you.